guys, so I normally never talk about studio lighting and what I use. However, I had a question from April and I'm going to try to answer this. Now, I have all my studio lighting in Kentucky and I'm in Georgia right now, or I would just show you hands-on how I do that and do a video walkthrough. But because that's in Kentucky and I'm here in Georgia, I'm sort of just going to draw you a little picture and explain how I do that. And I hope this helps. If it confuses anybody, I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can. And the reason why I'm showing you this setup is because it is almost a starter setup. You can start with one or two lights and then build up. But I do recommend Alienbee, which is a Posse Buff brand. They're out of Nashville, Tennessee. I am in no way endorsed or affiliated with them. I just really love their products. So let's go ahead and I'll start explaining this little setup here. Okay, now this is my current setup right here with this little drawing. However, when I started, I had a main light, a fill light, and then I purchased two alienbee 800s. Now, if you want the 800s, that's great. However, I rarely use them, and for my space, they were too powerful of a light. So I ended up never turning those on. I never had a hair light. It just caused a lot of problems. So that's something to keep in mind when you're purchasing and you're looking at your lights is to pay attention to the light strength. Your 400s are pretty great in a studio setting where they're smaller, and your 800s, the reason why I bought those was because I thought that I was going to be doing more outdoor lighting, and I also thought that I was going to be using gel lights more. Now, gel lights, if you're not familiar with those, they're just gels that go over your light source and they'll light up or change your background. The reason why 800 alienbees are recommended for your gel light source is because you need that powerful of a light source to shoot through those gels and to make that background change colors. But I don't recommend this if you're just starting out. If you're starting out and you're on a budget, I recommend two alienbees and then upgrading or not upgrading, but adding on another light as the hair light. So that's something you can do. Now, I know a lot of people have gone to shooting with just one main light with a huge parabolic umbrella, and you can find those umbrellas on Alienbee, but you can find them other places as well. So just keep that in mind as you're shooting or as you're planning ahead. I really love a main light and a fill light. My fill light is always lower, like a half a stop lower on the side of the face than my main light. And that just creates a very even feathered, really pretty look to me. Okay, so let's go on and I'll explain just a little bit more. Now, if you're just starting out and you're on a budget, I recommend just any light stand that you can afford. And there are really good light stands out there that are hundreds of dollars. But if you can only afford a $15 light stand, keep in mind that these are a little more flimsy, but you can weigh these down with sandbags. So if you are not going to move your lighting very much and you're going to keep them in the same spot in your studio, just grab one of these light stands and pack some sandbags around it, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to flip over, and you're not going to have a problem with that. That's a really great budget way to do that. And then, of course, change these out and upgrade them when you can afford better. Now, another way to start out, instead of spending several $100s on softbox, is you can just buy umbrellas, white umbrellas. I keep saying umbrellas weird today, guys. I'm sorry. So they have a white umbrella and you can shoot through this and it acts sort of like a softbox. There is light spill on the sides, but it's really not enough. It's not as bad as other photographers will make it sound. You really can get away with these using these if you're starting out. I'm not going to tell you you can't. They're very good. However, I prefer to shoot, or I have softboxes now, but when I started, I had the alienbees, these cheap $15 light stands, and silver umbrellas. Now, I prefer just how the silver looks on my models. It just bounces really pretty light onto them. Now, to use this silver side of the umbrella needs to be facing, of course, your model. I hate to say that out loud, but there are some people that they wouldn't know that, and they've actually done it the other way. So I just really want to say that, even though I hate to. Okay, so I really love the silver. You can have it a pretty good distance away from your model, and it just bounces a really pretty silver light. And that's just what I would recommend for starting out, instead of spending so much money on softboxes. So softboxes are so expensive, but they are worth it. Just start with what you can afford and then work your way up to a more expensive brand. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the actual light source, the softbox, and how to get that to trigger every time you press that shutter button. So from my drawing, you can see that I have me, the photographer, standing in the middle, and then I have this little blue tiny dashed line, which represents the cord that's going to the hot shoe. Now, a lot of people don't like shooting tethered because they could trip over their cord. However, the cord is like 15 feet long. If you trip over it, I'm sorry, I don't trip over it. I keep it behind me and I watch out for it and make sure I don't trip over it. And it will also come out of your hot shoe if you do tug on it too much. So it's not going to really cause a big problem if you are careful and you pay attention to what you're doing. Now, I still use this. You can get transmitter or receiver to put on your alienbee, but if you're starting out on a budget, go with this hot shoe adapter. Now let me explain this. I'm going to turn off my setup so you can see this. I'm going to make this much larger. This is $15 compared to the transmitter and receivers, which start at around $80 and go up per transmitter and receiver. And you have to have one transmitter on your camera and then a receiver on all of your lights. There's a way around that, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to recommend this hot shoe adapter. It's $15. You put it on top of your camera where your flash would mount, and then the cord plugs into the side of this little piece right here. And this is what, every time you snap your trigger or you hit your shutter button, it will transmit into the alienbee and trigger the flash. Now, a trick that I will do with this little piece or your cord sometimes will get loose over the years. I just put a little bit of black tape around the cord and the hot shoe adapter, and that just stays plugged in all the time. So I'm going to hide that, and we're going to look at the back of the alienbee. Now the alienbee 400 is $224, and I recommend starting with two of these, one for your main and one for your fill light, and then of course getting one for your hair light. Now if you look right here on the image, I'm going to draw a little arrow to it. That is your sync cord. If you plug in that cord and it comes with your alienbee, if you plug the cord into this and then into your hot shoe adapter into just one of these lights, it will trigger your other lights as long as they are within range and they can see that light flash go off. And then this right here is your light strength, your light steps, or what in the world am I trying to say? This is your strength, your power source. All the way to the right is your full power, and then you can go a half a stop down or a fourth down. Now, I personally, because I'm standing right next to it, if my light is too powerful and I don't feel like changing anything on my camera, I just come over here and change it on the back of my alienbee. It's so easy. There is really, all you need to do is just play with it and you will get the hang of it really, really quick. So, okay, I used two of those, and then I added one on to be my hair light several years later. I think it was a good 2 years before I purchased another alienbee 400, and I had already sold my alienbee 800s because I wasn't using them. Okay, let me talk about the Vagabond Mini real quick, and then I'll wrap this up. Now this is my main setup. It's for my indoor studio, and everything plugs directly into the wall. I don't have to worry about any electricity outside. However, if I was going to take my lights outside, you'd have to have a Vagabond Mini or the regular Vagabond portable power that they have on the website. And this just acts as a power source to carry with you, and you can hook it to the side of your light stand, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that. They have the Lithium Extreme. It's very powerful. It's $400, but as you can see, you can mount this onto the side of your light. if your lights are not close to each other, you're going to have one of these for every single light that you have. Now, talking about outdoor lighting, I'm not going to go over into detail. If you are taking your lights outdoors, you may want to look into the cyber sinks. Now, this is your transmitter and your receiver that we were talking about. You put your transmitter on your camera and the receivers on your lights. You will need a receiver per every light alienbee that you have if those lights are not in range of each other. If you have them within range and one light can trigger the other ones, that's great. But if it's really bright and sunny, it will not trigger. You're going to have that cyber sync, those transmitter and receivers. But this is just a basic video, so I don't want to go into a lot of detail on that. And plus, I'm not an expert on it. So let's look at one more thing. If you go to the info center and you come down, it'll say Studio Flash Explain, and it's going to explain everything that they can about Studio Flash, which they'll do a lot better than I will. And they also have packages. I don't really recommend buying a package deal like this, because if you look here at the Beginner Bee, it has the light stands and the outlet covers and a carrying box. It's altogether, it's $382. You can get all of this, the light stands and everything, much cheaper separate, because you don't need an air cushion light stand if you're going to leave your studio lights alone and leave them sitting. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of stuff that you can get like caught up in and spend a lot of money, but if you just go with the basics and then build up, you can work your way up to that. Okay, so I hope this helped. I hope it didn't confuse anybody more than you already were. And if you have any other questions that I might be able to help you with, I'm more than happy to post them in the comment section. If I can't answer them, I'm pretty sure I can direct you to who you need to talk to figure it out. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.